Hello and welcome, everyone who is listening. My name is Jake, and today I am here with Ray Higdon, who is one of our partners at Achieve Today, and we're so thrilled. He's been in town for a couple of days.
Yep.
Ray, thank you so much for just taking the time to
Yeah.
just do a quick little interview, give us some quick tips. So, how has it been here?
It's been great.
It's been good. Now, I heard this is your second time visiting Utah.
I've been to Utah 3 times. So
Okay.
the first time came up to meet with our coaching group up here.
Sure.
The second time my wife and I had a mastermind retreat in Park City. Took our clients on the bobsled in the Olympic
nice.
Park. It was super cool.
Wow.
And then yes, this is my 3rd time.
Okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, we're glad to have you here. I wanted to ask you just a couple of things. One of the things that we really teach in our program is how to overcome negative thinking, things in the past that have really disrupted people's thinking and their beliefs. And so you've been quite successful with what you do in network marketing, but then also the Higdon Group.
Yeah.
What are just some quick ways or things that people can do to really get past that negative thinking every day and just live every day to be successful? What are some quick mindset tips that you have?
Yeah, so, I think it's important for people to embrace. I really believe that if you've been through a lot, if you've been through trauma, if you've been through major obstacles and things like that, then you are now equipped to inspire different people. You're actually equipped to inspire more people. And the people that, the stories that inspire us aren't, here's Joe. Joe grew up with a fantastic family, had a great childhood, and now he's super successful, and it wasn't that difficult. No, we're inspired by people like John Paul DiGiorio, the owner of Patron. His mom had to give him up to foster care. He had to sell Christmas cards to eat. He had to do a lot of things throughout his life to overcome all of those obstacles, and here he is a billionaire. That's inspiring. What's not inspiring is when there are no obstacles. And so if you're someone that you're feeling that calling of being successful, but you're thinking that your past is limiting you, know that it's actually the opposite. If you've been through a lot of trauma, if you've been through a lot of obstacles, then I quite frankly think it's selfish if you don't succeed, because there are people that would be inspired by your story that may not be inspired by my story.
Yeah.
And my story, I have had a lot of different reasons that I shouldn't succeed. My parents divorced when I was very young. My stepmother was very abusive. So I've been through some different obstacles. Been dead broke twice. Been in foreclosure, but despite that, just kept showing up, and certainly had my stumbling blocks and things like that. But have my wife and I have now built a company that impacts a lot of people, and there's people that I'm sure are watching this that have been through way more than I have, and that just means that you have the ability to inspire people that my story may not. And so you have to look at a couple things. So one, if I don't move forward with where I'm being pulled to move forward, what's the alternative? What happens? Well, probably nothing, right?
Yeah.
Will I be better off in 5 years if I don't do this? Do I have another plan? And if you don't, then why not? The time is going to go anyway, right? And next, what is it that you really want? What's really, I find that people, we want to feel like we're making a difference. We want to feel like we're making a contribution, and we also want to feel like we're growing. And so, what really pulls you? And one of my favorite quotes that really helped me out was from the Dr. Reverend Michael Beckwith. He says, "Pain pushes you until a vision pulls you." And so I remember when pain was pushing me, when I was in foreclosure, being chased by bill collectors, $1 million in debt, sleeping on my buddy's couch. That was painful, and it was beating me up until I had that vision of becoming someone different. And I let that vision pull me and pull me and pull me. And I heard another great quote this morning where, they say faith can move mountains, but they don't tell you that it starts with a shovel. And so you got to start taking the steps toward the kind of life that you truly want, and know that there's going to be obstacles on the way. There's going to be times you want to quit, and you have to tap into, why am I doing this? Why is this meaningful? Why is this the place where I need to go?
Wow. Okay. So even in times of failure and just times where you feel the worst, you can still have that hope for the future that you are making a difference with your story going forward.
Yeah, and the way I look at that, because there's a difference between way past trauma, like childhood stuff,
Yeah.
versus the more recent stuff. So, I remember having a vision when I was in real estate of I wanted to make a big difference. And so, I have this vision, and then the market crashes. I get wiped out. I'm in foreclosure. I wipe out my IRA, my 401k, I sell my furniture, I still go into foreclosure. And so at the time, it sure didn't feel great. But looking back, for me to reach the kind of impact that I'm striving for, I actually needed that to happen, because I wasn't thinking correctly about wealth and money and contribution. I wasn't of the most positive energy, to be honest. And so I actually needed to be humbled. And so it's like the universe, or whatever you want to believe, that God or the universe actually answers your call, but we just don't always pick up on the message. I needed that to happen. We could not have built the company that we've built if I didn't have that happen. And so it's not like I wish demise on people, but you have to look at, okay, what can I learn from this? What about this am I not tough enough to overcome? And the answer is nothing. You can overcome anything. We're built and designed to survive, but you can actually use those obstacles as reasons for you to push forward.
Now, would that be the same line of thinking? Like, let's say, it's really easy to look back and say, oh my gosh, these things were so good for me. What do you do in the day-to-day when you actually are feeling the struggle, you're feeling the pain?
Yeah. So, my suggestion is on the days, it's really important that on the days that you don't feel like it, on the days you feel like quitting, that you do something. And I've had people ask me this. They're like, do you work all the time? And I'm like, I don't work all the time. I just don't have no production days. That doesn't happen. And there are no days where I just don't do anything. And for example, as of this month of this recording, I've now done 11 years straight of a video a day. I've never missed a day, whether on our honeymoon before she was awake, or traveling all around with no Wi-Fi or anything like that. I haven't missed a day in 11 years since July 15, 2009. And and it's there are definitely days where I did my video, did maybe one other thing, and then the rest of the day I goofed off. And there have been, if I look back over the last 11 years, there are probably, and if I accumulated all of them, there's probably been 2 years where I didn't feel like doing anything. But I did it anyway. And so start replacing the time that you're spending beating yourself up over what you did do, didn't do, how you don't feel like it. Stop waiting to feel like it and just progress. If you're wanting to work out, if you're wanting to lose weight and you just don't feel like going to the gym, do something. Do some sit-ups, do some leg lifts, do some push-ups, do something, but do something to push you toward the better version of yourself, whether you feel like it or not.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, just one last question here. How long did your success take? Because you said you were broke twice and all these other struggles. How long did it take you to get to where you are today?
Well, I became a full-time entrepreneur in April of 2005.
Okay.
And I did well in real estate. I left a high-paying corporate job to go into the wild unknown of being an entrepreneur and being in real estate. And so I was doing good. I was in a hot market in the state of Florida during the real estate boom. 2008 hits, I get wiped out. So I was a full-time entrepreneur in 2005. By 2009, I'm dead broke, personal foreclosure, $1 million in debt. And then if I fast forward, 2013 was my first $1 million year. The next year doubled, the next year doubled that. And so it's interesting because if you look at the journey, 4 years in, I'm dead broke.
Yeah.
So that stinks. That doesn't look good. But you fast forward from 2005 to 2013, that's 8 years, $1 million year. And then double the next year. So it actually took me 8 years into foreclosure to reach $1 million a year, but less than 1 year to double that. And so that's interesting. And I tell people that, whether you're an online marketer or business, traditional business owner or whatever, it's, it's harder to go from $0 to $1,000 a month than it is 1 to 10. And so the thing is, you gotta take those first steps. Those are the toughest steps to take. And so you got to take those first steps and get into progress, get into motion, and just not stop. You may have high production days, but just don't have no production days.
I love that. Well, it's so good to know. I mean, a lot of our students just struggle with this concept of just patience and just working hard and being productive every day. So your story is...
you look at this. Harrison Ford, I think most people would agree, is a pretty good actor.
Yep.
He was in the acting field for 27 years before he got his first lead role. 27 years.
Wow.
And I forget the exact number, but I know the Dyson vacuum guy. He was on like his model, I think 7,000 before he actually got one that works. Now imagine being the wife, right? Hey, James, is this ever going to work, right? And I swear it'll work. And he's now a billionaire, right? And so when you hear those stories, don't just let them inspire you and say, wow, that's really cool. Reflect on them. Why do they deserve 27 years of no success, but you need it today? And that's what people don't take into consideration. Elvis, he performed at Opryland. They told him to go back to being a truck driver. They said, get out of here, go back to being a truck driver. You're not cut out for this. Elvis Presley. And so why is it that it's okay for them to have struggle, but not you? Why is it okay for them to be, sent away and told they're no good, but that's not okay for you? And so you got to take some of this into consideration. You may not have success overnight. Most people don't, but it'll never happen if you quit. And so you just keep going, man. Your time is going to pass. Why not, progress toward a life that you actually want?
Jeez, yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Ray, where can people find you? What's a good place to learn more about you?
MySpace, actually. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I think I'm still over there. But it depends if you're in the network marketing niche. We have a group where I go live every single day. I give an action step and a training. It's called Rank Makers. In the last 2 years, we've helped network marketers bring in 166,000 new customers, 36,000 new reps, and achieve 7,600 rank advancements. And so if you'd like to check that out, you can at becomearankmaker.com. And you can also certainly find us on Facebook as well, and most of the other social medias.
Okay, well, we'll make sure to put a link below this video. So,
awesome.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for taking a couple of minutes, and we're glad you're here. So.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us on this video. Hey, what has been your top takeaway from this video today? I challenge you to write it in the comments below. If you write that comment, you get to own it. You get to take that away and take that with you. It's just going to solidify it deeper in your mind. If you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button and then also subscribe and hit that notification bell so we can make sure that you can get the latest content that we have to offer. Till next time, bye-bye.